So, hello everyone to my channel. I'm just a dad and I don't know how to do this. I mean, I've been watching YouTube channels and everything, but never had the experience of starting one myself. So, this is kind of to me it's an interesting topic because I'm going to talk a little bit about my life and why am I starting this, but also at the same time taking a look at one of my rabbit holes, which are fountain pens, or at least it used to be one of my rabbit holes. So about a couple of years ago I hit quite a rough patch with my life. I'm not going to bore you about the details of why that happens, but it was kind of tough being trying to hold things together, me with 3 kids. 2 of them are facing mental health issues and they're quite severe, and I live in a place or a country where the access or the network support system for those issues are sporadic at best, or let me put it this way, if if you'd like to access quality mental health care, they're very expensive here. But that's only part of the reason. And through my journey, I've been trying to raise funds and sell things that I might not need anymore, and which is interesting because they force me to deal with the important question of discerning or determining things that I really need between those and things that I just want. So one of the things that I end up selling are my fountain pens, and today I'm going to talk about those pens that are not sold, or as I'd like to put it, the pens that can't be sold. This is interesting because when I tried to do this at the beginning and try to list all my pens into a local online marketplace, I told my wife that, okay, whatever we end up with, those are the things that we're going to use ourselves. Remember, I'm talking about fountain pens. I might talk about other things, but that would come in for another video. So this is what I end up with. So the first one is this, and this is a Pilot Custom Heritage 91. This is a special thing, at least for me, because as far as I know, they are only still being sold, especially for Japan domestic market, and are not readily available outside of Japan. A little difficult to source. I'm sorry if my angle and the framing or composition of this video is all over the place because I'm doing it for the first time. But yeah, to get back to the topic, it's here with I think it's a nice rhodium trim with all these rings and bands, and this is a 14K gold nib in FM or fine and medium. Japanese size. Come with a flat top and flat bottom. I don't know why people are not attracted to this one. The color is a good one. They named this color. I recall, if I'm not mistaken, that they named the color of this model to match their line of Iroshizuku inks. This one is, I can't recall the name, but it's for the brown ones. I remember that this one writes not exceptionally well for me, or maybe it's just because I haven't took my time with it. I only wrote like one converter worth of inks, and when it ran out of inks, I just like shelf it back for rotation and the force kind of stuff. So as you know with fountain pens, sometimes that it's not the best way to use it, because it might never develop the nib, or the nib might never adjust to my writing style and positions of my hand while I'm writing, and so on and so forth. So yeah, so that means for pen that doesn't straight away out of the box like feels really good for me, I tend to shelf them and to maybe try them somewhere in the future, and this is one of them. And when I say good for me, I tend to like pen with nibs that are soft, with some bounce or spring into it, so it kind of feels like where I like glide over the paper, if you will. I'm not sure how to describe it, but rather than nibs with a very strong feedback or even scratchy, but let's not mention scratchy, because I really don't like them. But this doesn't feel that good. I remember one of those pens that we sell was my favorite model of Pilot. I like Japanese pens more. That kind of bounce or spring that I mentioned is that feeling that I get when I use my beloved Pilot E95, and I don't get them, and I don't get that feeling here. So I listed it up, but no one seems to quite interested in it. No one asked questions about it, details. So yeah, this might be one of those pens that I end up with, and so this might stay, for better or for worse. It's in a mint condition. So yeah, I'd keep it for now. Second one might surprise you, because this is Pilot Custom 74. A true workhorse, and it's mentioned, I believe that this is one of the most successful fountain pen models of all time, from all brands in the whole world. Custom 74 is a legend in the fountain pen world, because they're so compact, with a shape that is, acceptable to a lot of people. And I bought this one because I like the color. I'm kind of a little bit bored with those usual colors of black and the muted neutral tones. But I also don't like pens with very complex finishes with too much artistic flair, because they kind of detract from they kind of distract people. I remember one day sitting at a board meeting of my organization, and I took out one of those pens with mixed swirly finishes on their body, and people like looking at my pen right away, and I don't like that. So this one exudes that muted, understated elegance, if you know what I mean, that you know what you're doing, and you don't really shout, look at me, like the way it could happen with a pen, with other fountain pens of other brands that are related to prestige, like Mont Blanc and all the other kind of stuff. So yeah, I like Japanese pens that because of that reason. This one comes with also 14K nib. I don't know if my camera focus or not, but this one is in standard F or fine, Japanese fine from Pilot, and this one writes really beautifully, and I really like this. It still doesn't give me that bounce or spring like the ones that I have with Pilot E95, but this one is so responsive. They never hard start for me, this one, and the fine nib is soft enough to not give me some harsh feedback, but it's also really it's really responsive to the way I write, whether I need to do a long form journaling or quick note taking in the office and those kind of stuff. It's really good. Yeah. In fact, I might do some writing tests, although I think the world doesn't need another writing test of Pilot Custom 74, but I'm just going to write one or two long sentences with this. But I must say that I'm really happy that this one was unsold. I mean, as opposed to maybe other models of my pens. So yeah, this I refill this one with ink like 3 or 4 days ago, and I began to use it daily again, and now I remember why I love this pen so much. Oh, this one doesn't need further reviewing. You all know why this one is so special. Just search all over the web and YouTube Pilot Custom 74. They're legends, and they're worth every inch of their reputation. The next one is a vintage. This is a vintage Mont Blanc 221. It's a piston filler with 14K gold nib also. In broad, I mean the size is broad, the nib size is broad. This remains my first and only journey into vintage fountain pens. Not because I don't like what they're associated with. I mean, I'm all in for those ideas of the romance of the past, and why some things of the past they simply are made much better than what we have today. They also this one also comes in burgundy, which is also interesting because I like dark red shades for my things, as you can tell with the custom 74 that I showed to you before. And this one is also in burgundy. But maybe one of the reasons why these two pens were unsold because of the color. I don't know. So people might not like the shades of dark red like this. But this one performs beautifully for a vintage pen. And it also has some kind of flex. You might be able to see. This one is currently not inked, and it writes very smoothly. But the reason why I listed this down, well, I listed almost all of my pens, so maybe the reason why I don't really use this pen a lot is because, one, the piston filler system make it a big hassle to flush and clean if I want to change ink colors. And the next reason is because the broad nib is simply too wide for me to use in everyday writing. Although with this one I can write in reverse and they all come out fine. But that brings another problem, because if I write in reverse, I don't really like the feedback. So it's a kind of catch-22 situation for me. So I end up not really using this a lot, and I kind of store them. Yeah, maybe I would revisit this and ink this up soon to try and see if my feelings change toward this. But it's a nice pen, although like so many people out there, the bottom logo is missing. It should be there when I got it, but I forgot. That's the MB221. It still comes with its packaging, so it's very nice. There are also some steel pens that I don't list because they're not worth much. And talking about steel pens, this is one of them. This is Y Studio Classic Revolve fountain pen, and it's in brass, coated with black lacquer, and they call this brassing effect because in its edges you can see kind of the brass peeks through, and they even encourage this kind of effect by giving us some sandpaper to sand the finish over. But I'm not really enthused by that idea, because I think for any kind of reactive material or like brass or copper, the story is in where you use them every day, and in which their patina would be formed according to how you hold them, the position of your hand while you're using them, and all this kind of stuff, and they will develop naturally over time. So I don't force the patina with this one. This one kind of cool. It doesn't have a clip, but the shape, it's hexagonal. It's kind of stops it from rolling over. It will not roll over, and it has a gold-plated steel nib. I believe it's from Yowo or Book, if I'm not mistaken. It's a smooth rider. It's a nice one for EDC. I inked this up also like maybe a week ago with pilot Hiroshishuku Hoteison, their 100th anniversary lines, one of them. So yeah, and there's also one particular pen that I never listed because it's my favorite. Again, I should not, I mean, this one doesn't need further reviewing from me because who am I? I'm just an amateur. I'm just a user of this kind of stuff. But what this is, it, yeah, of course, the legendary Namiki, or pilot falcon, or as they are known in Japan, Elabo. And this one is with rhodium trim, and I got this one with the metal body, not the resin one, because I like the heft of the metal body. And the nib, would you look at that? I mean, the shape of the nib, hooded curve like a falcon beak, which gives it the elastic structure to make it soft enough and to be called a semi-flex. I really love this one. So yeah, I'm not gonna list it. So yeah, those are few of the pens that I still have. There are a lot of other pens that I haven't mentioned because they're just, you know, some kind of trainer pen, if you will, entry-level pen, like the pilot models with plastic bodies, or maybe the pilot Metropolitan or Kakuno and all this kind of stuff. I also have one Noodler's Ahab that is not functioning anymore. They refuse, the ink refused to flow. I don't know why. So yeah, and just I think that's about it from me. So this is it's interesting because to circle back to why I'm starting this. My therapist told me that journaling or recording my thoughts, reflecting back, and maybe even observing why I think what I think at any given moment might be useful. And as I'm struggling with what I'm experiencing right now, I find that to be largely true. And maybe documenting, so this channel could be my alternative way of documenting what I'm experiencing and reflecting on that. But yeah, then and here I am. So I'm not a real expert on any given topic. So I'm not here, you know, if I review things in the future, I don't come from a place where I'm an expert on that, but rather I would like to maybe just share about what I think about them, about things, about events, and what it means to me as a dad and a husband. So yeah, I'm going to leave you now with some lines to write as I close this. Can you hear my dog in the background? Oh, they're fun. See you next time. Bye bye.